strong in the moment that I couldn't even hear my own mother, who was cheering at the top of her lungs. 5 minutes before the gun, the nerves can get you. There have been races where I wasn't confident, and in those 5 minutes, I'd find myself looking at the girl next to me and thinking, that girl looks incredible. But none of that was happening at the Beijing final. And those seconds before the race, I couldn't have told you who was running in each lane or even who was next to me. Nothing distracted me. With my hands, I visualized my position, how my body would be in the blocks. I visualized my first steps. I focused on my approach to the first hurdle, on the momentum I would gain in that moment. The starter yelled, "Runners, take your mark." I approached the line, shook my legs, and got in the blocks. Set. The gun went off. The Australian girl got out on me. I didn't panic. We raced a lot over the course of the season. I knew she would have a great start, but I also knew I would be able to catch her by hurdle 3. I did. I passed her, and from hurdles 3 through 5, I was in an amazing rhythm, and I knew I was winning the race. I wasn't thinking, I'm winning the Olympic gold medal. It just felt like another race, but I was executing at the highest level. And then there was a point after hurdle 5 when I thought, wow, these hurdles are coming up really, really fast. In that moment, my body was running the fastest it had ever run. To adjust for the speed, I focused on turnover to make my steps quicker between the hurdles. I knew I couldn't get sloppy with my technique, so I told myself to make sure my legs were snapping down. But I turned over too much between the hurdles, and instead of relaxing, I overcompensated. It was a small miscalculation with one epic ramification. Hurdles are only 10 meters apart. Your steps between them must be perfect. As I approach a hurdle, even if my big toe is over my takeoff point by even half an inch, that can mess up all of my angles. I should have relaxed a little bit and just run. Instead, I was so paranoid because the hurdles were coming up so fast that I snapped my lead foot down too quickly. Then I caught the 9th hurdle and rode it to the ground. I was finally able to get my foot off the hurdle and thought I would still be able to get a medal. But as I crossed the line and looked up at the board, I saw I got 7th. 7th? I collapsed to the track. I couldn't even stop thinking. I just wished the next Olympics were tomorrow. I was heartbroken as my mind tried to understand what I had lost. Then, in front of millions watching around the globe, on my knees, fighting tears, feeling the crushing, immediate weight of disappointment, I sensed God whisper to me, "But you're here." That thought was followed by a memory from 4 years earlier. I remembered how I watched the Athens 2004 Olympic Games from my Baton Rouge, Louisiana apartment, how I cried because I hadn't made that Olympic team, because I was watching others do what I knew I could do, because I knew I was born to compete with the best in the world at an Olympic Games. Now, on an Olympic track in Beijing, I sensed God saying, "But you're here." Those 3 words flooded my heart with a sense of thankfulness and peace, maybe the kind of peace written about in Philippians 4:7, the peace that surpasses all understanding. It didn't erase the pain, the crushing blow of a loss, but it gave me another perspective, a higher and more hopeful perspective. But you're here. There was a lifetime of truth in those 3 words. God spoke to my heart at the moment of my greatest professional disappointment and gave me a means, even in tears, even in pain, to move forward. Those words provided solid ground upon which I could stand. From those words, I could access peace, gratitude, a sense of accomplishment, joy, hope, on and on. But you're here. I could write a book based on those 3 words. Over it. The ideal of getting over hurdles is used so often by people who are facing adversity while pursuing their dreams that the book title Over It could come across as cliche. But it's not cliche to me. For me, Over It is about working out 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, running until I puke, and then running some more. Over It is about lifting weights until every muscle is screaming, then lifting more. Over It is about risking the possibility of hitting a hurdle that could literally end my career. When I hit that penultimate hurdle in the 2008 Games, I felt like the whole world was watching me lose, seeing my dreams go down with me. There are 10 hurdles in the 100 meters. I was winning the race when I hit the 9th. So close and yet so agonizingly far. In 2008, before the Games, I won my first world championship. By the time I got to Beijing, I was winning almost every race. I was athletic.